Hello, students. Welcome to today's lecture of NCERT, Chapter 7, that is Redox Reactions Theory, Part 1. In today's lecture, we are going to cover the section number 7.1. The disclaimer: the images, text, and other materials used in our presentations are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the content immediately. So first of all, let's understand that how can we prepare this particular chapter for the competitive exams like JEE and NEET respectively. So to start for a competitive exam, we must know about the official syllabus for the particular exam that we are preparing for. Then you must know about the key concepts for the topic that you are going to cover. That means for this redox reactions chapter, you must know about the oxidation number and its calculation. Then how can you balance the redox reaction? Understanding the equivalent weight that is measured by or understood by n factor. Types of redox reaction. Redox titrations. Then you have to prepare or you have to make a plan for your study. So what would be the study strategy? The strategy would be that you have to first thoroughly cover your NCERT textbook. Then solve the practice problem, that means numerical problem over the topic. Then PYQs, that means previous year questions for both JEE and NEET. Then make notes. So here is the learning objective, that what we will be able to understand after completing this lecture. So after attending this lecture, you will be able to identify the redox reactions as a class of reactions in which the oxidation and reduction reactions occur simultaneously. Then define the terms oxidation, reduction, oxidant and reductant. That means after attending this lecture, you will be able to define the different terms and you will also be able to understand about oxidation, reduction, oxidizing agent and reducing agent. So topics that we are going to cover, that would be the oxidation and reduction reaction. Then in text question 7.1. Then exemplar question, that is 1. And then summary for the detailed lecture that we are going to study. So now, oxidation. First of all, we should have an idea about the classical idea of redox reactions. That means we must know about redox reaction. That what is redox reaction? How does it take place? What do we understand by the term redox? So if you consider the word redox, that is the combination of two words. That means the redox, that means red, plus ox, forming the word redox. So you can understand it in a manner that red, that means reduction, and ox, that means oxidation. So the reduction plus oxidation is directly related with redox reaction. So by the term itself, by the word itself, we can say that a process in which the reduction and the oxidation are taking place simultaneously, that particular reaction would be considered as the redox reactions. So to have an idea about redox reaction, we must know about the redox, that means reduction, and the oxidation reaction. that how does the oxidation reaction and how does the redox reaction takes place. So first of all, let's understand about the oxidation reaction. That what is oxidation reaction? How does it take place? So oxidation reaction is the reaction which takes place by the addition of oxygen or an electronegative element. That means during a chemical reaction, when you found that there is an addition of reaction has been taken place to a particular compound or to an element, then that would be considered as the oxidation reaction. The addition of an electronegative element will also be considered as a oxidation reaction. If we understand oxidation with respect to hydrogen, that means if the removal of hydrogen is taking place or the removal of an electropositive element is taking place, so this would also be considered as an oxidation reaction. So the examples, so we will look at some examples which will be directly related with the addition of oxygen or an electronegative element or the removal of hydrogen or an electropositive element, which helps us in clarifying our concept of oxidation. So let's look at the first example, that is addition of oxygen. So in this reaction, in which the magnesium is reacting with oxygen and forming the compound that is magnesium oxide. So we can understand it in a manner that if you look over the reactant, that the magnesium and oxygens are present separately and then they are combining and forming a product that is magnesium oxide. So in the reactant, you will find that there is no oxygen present with magnesium. Magnesium is reacting with oxygen. While in the product, you will find that the magnesium oxide has been formed, which means that oxygen has been added to magnesium, forming the compound magnesium oxide. And this addition of oxygen is directly related with the term oxidation. And this equation in NCERT is equation 7.1. Let's have another example which is directly related with the removal of hydrogen. So here you will find that the reaction of hydrogen sulfide is taking place with oxygen. So what you will find that hydrogen sulfide on being reacted with oxygen gives sulfur plus water. It gives sulfur plus water. So here what you will find that in the reactant hydrogen is present with sulfur. While if you look in the product, you will find that the sulfur is present alone. There is no hydrogen that is now present with it. That means the hydrogen has been removed. That means removal of hydrogen has taken place. And hence it can be considered as the oxidation reaction. While if you look at to the O2 in the reactant and then oxygen in the product, you will find that in the reactant the oxygen is present alone, while in the product the hydrogen has been added to oxygen. Okay, so now we will only consider the removal of hydrogen over here because we are studying oxidation. We'll tell you about this addition of hydrogen ahead in the reduction. So in this particular equation or the chemical reaction, you can conclude that the removal of hydrogen is considered as the oxidation process or the oxidation reaction. I hope these two examples are clear to you. Then let's consider some more examples of oxidation which are related with electronegative or electropositive element. So the addition of electronegative element, that means in a chemical reaction, when there is an addition of electronegative element that takes place in a chemical reaction, then that particular chemical reaction is considered as an oxidation reaction. So now let's look at this reaction in which the magnesium is being reacted with fluorine, forming magnesium fluoride. That means the fluorine, which is the most electronegative halogen, or which is an electronegative element. Fluorine has high electronegativity, and this fluorine has been added to magnesium and has formed the product that is magnesium fluoride. Hence, we can consider it as an oxidation process, and this particular equation in NCERT textbook is mentioned as equation number 7.5. In the next reaction, in which the magnesium is reacting with chlorine, forming magnesium chloride. That means chlorine is also an electronegative element. And this particular electronegative element again is being added to magnesium, forming magnesium chloride. And hence again we can clearly specify here that the addition of electronegative element has been taken place that has formed magnesium chloride and can be concluded as an example of oxidation reaction. In the next example, that is NCERT equation 7.7, you will find the addition of sulfur to magnesium, and this again can considered as an example of oxidation because again the sulfur has been added to magnesium in the product. Now, let's understand the concept of oxidation with the help of the concept of removal of electropositive element. As it has been already defined that the removal of electropositive element is considered as an example of oxidation. So, in this reaction, you will find that the two compounds are being reacted with each other, that is K4FeCN6 in aqueous form is being reacted with H2O in aqueous form, forming the complex K3FeCN6 plus KOH. Now, in the complex K4FeCN6, you will find that there are 4 potassium ions. So, I am here talking about the unbalanced reaction. If you consider the balanced one, then obviously these particular number are balanced. So if we consider the unbalanced one, so here there would be the 4 potassium element, while here there is 3. So what has happened over here? There has been the removal of a electropositive element has occurred. That means a single potassium has been removed and it has been added to the another product form, that is potassium hydroxide. So here we will consider it or understand it in a manner that the removal of electropositive element from the reactant is also considered as an oxidation reaction. So I hope the concept of oxidation is clear to you, that oxidation can be defined as the addition of oxygen and removal of hydrogen. It can also be defined as the addition of an electronegative element or the removal of an electropositive element. So now let's move on to the reduction reaction. That what are reduction? How does it happen? So the reduction reactions are the reactions in which the removal of oxygen or the removal of an electronegative element takes place in a chemical reaction, while the addition of hydrogen or an electropositive element also directs to the reduction. So now let's understand these particular removal of oxygen and addition of hydrogen with the help of example. First of all, the removal of oxygen is directly related with reduction. In the given NCERT equation 7.8, you will find that when the mercuric oxide is being heated, it gives the product mercury, that means Hg plus O2. So in the reactant, you can clearly see here that oxygen is being present with Hg. But in the product, the Hg and oxygen are present separately, or we can also understand it in a manner that Hg is present alone. That means oxygen has been removed from it, and this particular removal of oxygen is considered as a redox is considered as a reduction process, because here only the removal of oxygen is taking place. That means it is a reduction reaction. While if you look over the removal of electronegative element, you will find that there would be the removal of electronegative element, that in the reactant there is FeCl3 reacting with H2 producing FeCl2 plus HCl. So what you will find that in the reactant, that is FeCl3, there are 3 chlorine elements that are present, while in the product in FeCl2 complex there are only 2 chlorine atoms. And we know that chlorine is an electronegative element, and there has been a removal of electronegative element taken place from the reactant, as it can be clearly seen in the product. Hence, we can say that the removal of oxygen and electronegative element is directly related with reduction reaction. Now, let's consider some more example of reduction in which we will understand about the addition of hydrogen and the other aspects also, by which we will have a clear view of reduction process. So in this, the addition of hydrogen. So if you look over the reaction in which ethene is being reacted with hydrogen, that leads to the formation of ethane. That means CH3, CH3. So here you will find that hydrogen is being added to both the carbons. Hydrogen is being added to both the carbons. And this addition of hydrogen is directly related with the reduction reaction. Now, if you look over the addition of electropositive element, so HgCl2 plus SnCl2 gives Hg2Cl2 plus SnCl4. That means here you will find that in mercury chloride and tin chloride, the electropositive element is Hg. So in the reactant, in HgCl2, there is only one Hg that is present if I consider an unbalanced chemical reaction. Okay. So now in the product, you will find that there are 2 Hg elements that are present. That means an addition of an electropositive element has occurred. So now obviously we have to balance the reaction. So to balance this, we have put 2 HgCl2 plus SnCl2 giving Hg2Cl2 plus SnCl4. And hence, now we can conclude by these 4 examples that we have studied for reduction that the addition of hydrogen and the removal of oxygen is considered as a reduction process, and the addition of an electropositive element or the removal of an electronegative element is considered as a redox reaction. So I hope till now the oxidation reaction and the reduction reaction is clear to you. Moving ahead, now let's understand that what are the redox processes or what are the redox reactions. As we have studied the oxidation and reduction separately in the detailed view, now we can directly come to redox reaction. Redox reaction. These are those particular chemical reactions in which the oxidation and the reduction reaction occurs simultaneously. That means if you consider a single chemical reaction, you will find that in that particular reaction, if there is oxidation and reduction, both has been taken place. So this would directly relate with the redox reaction. So oxidation, the loss of electrons by any species would be considered as oxidation. the gain of electrons by any species would be considered as reduction. The particular species which would accept the electrons or accept the electrons, that they would be considered as oxidizing agent, while the species that would donate the electrons would consider as the reducing agent. They would be considered as the reducing agent. So here we have understood about the redox reaction, that how can we say that in a particular reaction that the oxidation reaction has been taken place. So till now we have understood about the oxidation and redox reaction in a manner of addition or removal of hydrogen or oxygen, or the addition and removal of electropositive or electronegative element. But now we must have to understand about these two terms in the manner of their electron transfer reaction. In the manner of their electron transfer. So how would you find that? You can understand it in a manner that if you look into a chemical reaction and you will find that there has been the loss of electron has taken place. So that would be oxidation. Now the most important question arises over here, that how can you find that loss of electron has been done in any species, or the gain of electron, how would you find it? So this can be found by knowing the oxidation number of the species. That when when you have a chemical reaction, you must know about their oxidation number, or you can calculate it, and then you must look over their variation, that how they have changed. If you find that there is change in their oxidation number in the reactant and product, that means either they have gained the electron or they have lost the electron, which would be directly signifying or relating it with the oxidation and reduction process respectively. So we can say that the process where a substance losing electron, that a process in which a substance is losing electron, which would result in an increase in its oxidation number. It is the most important point. Then there would be increase in the oxidation number. Then that particular process is oxidation process. While if you consider the gain of electrons by any species, that means a process where a substance gains electrons resulting in decrease in its oxidation number. So that decrease in oxidation number would relate it with the reduction. So I have clearly stated that the increase in oxidation number would be oxidation, decrease in oxidation number would be reduction. So what is oxidation number? How can you understand it? You can understand it in a manner that oxidation number is a number which is assigned to an atom in a molecule that indicates its degree of ionization or degree of dissociation. Okay? The degree of ionization or the degree of reduction. Oxidation and reduction. Now, as I have told you that increase in the oxidation number is oxidation, decrease is reduction. Now you will have two species in which one would be considered as the oxidized one and the other would be considered as the reduced one, which would have gained the electron. So the particular element which has been oxidized or the compound which has been oxidized would always considered as the reducing agent, and the compound which has reduced will always be considered as the oxidizing agent. We can easily understand it by stating that a substance that accept the electrons, a and gets reduced, that means a substance which is itself getting reduced, that would be an oxidizing agent, while a substance that donate electrons and gets oxidized in the redox reaction would be considered as reducing agent. Hence, we can conclude the redox reaction in a manner that redox reaction or the reduction oxidation reactions are those chemical reactions where the oxidation state of atoms where the oxidation state of atoms change due to the transfer of electrons changes due to the transfer of electrons. Oxidation is the loss of electron while reduction is the gain of electron, and these reactions are fundamental to many chemical and biological processes. So let's understand this by the help of an example. So in this example, you can find here that hydrogen sulfide is being reacted with oxygen, gives sulfur plus H2O. So as we are talking about the loss and gain of electron, so how can we find it? We can find it by the help of oxidation number. So in the hydrogen sulfide, you will find the oxidation state of hydrogen as +1 and sulfur -2, while the oxygen is present in 0 and the sulfur in 0 in product and hydrogen in +1 and oxygen in -2. So now an increase in oxidation number will directly related with oxidation. Decrease in oxidation number or the gain of electron would be related with reduction. So here you will find that 0 to -2, there is decrease in the oxidation number. That means the gain of electron. And how many? 0 to -2. That means 2 electrons. So this would be considered as the gain of 2 electron. While if you look over the sulfur, in the reactant it is present in -2, while in the product it is present in 0. That means there is oxidation that has been taken place. That means there is loss of 2 electrons. So what we will say that? We will say that the reducing agent and the oxidizing agent would be H2S and O2 respectively. So the species that has been oxidized would be considered as the oxidizing agent. The species that has been oxidized would be considered as the reducing agent, while the species that has been reduced would be considered as the reducing agent, which can be clearly seen in the provided example. So now let's solve the question, that is in text question 7.1, that you are provided with 3 different reactions and you have to identify the species which are undergoing oxidation and reduction. So the first chemical reaction is H2S reacting with chlorine giving 2HCl plus sulfur. In the second one, it is 3Fe3O4 plus 8 aluminium gives iron plus Al2O3. While in the third one, it is sodium reacting with hydrogen giving sodium hydride. Now you are provided with some time to solve this question or have an idea about this question. After that, I shall provide you the correct answer and detailed explanation to this question. So now let's solve this question. So for the first reaction, that is H2S reacting with chlorine gives HCl plus sulfur. we have to identify the species which is undergoing oxidation and reduction. As we have studied three different aspects for oxidation and reduction. One aspect is the addition of hydrogen or oxygen or the removal of hydrogen or oxygen. The second aspect is the addition or removal of electropositive or electronegative element. And the third one is the loss of electron and the gain of electron. So by all these three concepts, we can directly understand here that which particular species has been reduced or oxidized. So in this particular reaction, the hydrogen is present in +1 oxidation state in reactant and in the product also, while sulfur is present in -2 in reactant and in 0 in product, while chlorine is present in 0 oxidation state in reactant and in -1 in product. So we can understand it by the help of the term of electronegative element. That if you consider that the H2S, so in H2S, H2S is oxidized by chlorine due to the removal of hydrogen. Because from H2S the hydrogen has been removed, and in hydrogen also the chlorine has been added. So what we can say here, that the H2S is oxidized, while if you consider the chlorine is reduced by adding hydrogen to it. And you can also find that chlorine is present in 0 oxidation state in reactant and in -1 in product. So if you look over the second reaction, that is 3Fe3O4 2O4, in which oxygen is present in -2 oxidation state, reacting with 8 aluminium, in which the aluminium has an oxidation state of 0, forming the product 9Fe and 4Al2O3. So what you will find here? You will find that the aluminium is oxidized because oxygen is added to it, while in Fe3O4, that means ferrous ferric oxide is reduced because oxygen has been removed from it. So in the reaction, you can clearly see here that iron is present alone in the product, while in the reactant the aluminium is present alone and the oxygen has been added to it in the product. So we can say that the oxidation has taken place to the aluminium while the Fe3O4 has been reduced. Now let's consider the third reaction, in which the sodium is reacting with hydrogen forming sodium hydride. So in this you will find that in the reactant both the sodium and hydrogen has an oxidation state of 0, while in the product they have the oxidation state of +1 for sodium and -1 for hydrogen. So sodium gets oxidized from oxidation state 0 to +1, while hydrogen gets reduced from oxidation state 0 to -1. So this is directly relating with the loss of electron, as 0 to +1 there is an increase in the oxidation number, and from 0 to -1 there is decrease in the oxidation number, which means there is gain of an electron. So we can clearly say here that sodium has been oxidized while hydrogen has been reduced. You can also understand a most important concept here, as it is a very simple reaction, that in sodium and hydrogen, what has happened? There is the exchange of electron of only 1. That means the total electrons that would be lost in a reaction will always be equals to the total number of electrons that would be gained in a chemical reaction. And that particular loss and gain of electron in a chemical reaction would directly considered as a redox reaction. I hope this question is clear to you. Moving ahead to the next question, that is, which of the following is not an example of redox reaction? The options are: copper oxide on reaction with hydrogen gives copper plus water. The second one is Fe2O3 plus CO gives iron plus 3CO2. The third one is potassium plus F2 gives 2KF. And the third one is BaCl2 plus H2SO4 gives BaSO4 plus 2HCl. So to solve this question, you must know about the concept of redox reaction, as we have studied in this lecture. So use all the concepts, try to fit it in each and every option, and then have a correct answer to it. So to solve this question, here you are provided with some time, and after that I shall provide you the correct detailed explanation. So now the correct answer to this question is option D, that is BaCl2 on reacting with H2SO4 forms barium sulfate plus HCl. So how you can find it that it is not an example of redox reaction? So to conclude it, we will solve all of the four examples and consider their oxidation state, the loss or gain of electron, and each and every aspect to conclude the redox reaction. As we know that the redox reactions involves simultaneously oxidation and reduction of reacting species. That means in a chemical reaction there would be oxidation and reduction take place simultaneously. And the particular change in oxidation state will decide whether a reaction is redox or not. That means the elements that are present in reactant and also in the product, if the change in oxidation state has been taken place for them, then that would directly relate it with the redox reaction. As we have already understand that if there is an increase in the oxidation reaction, if there is increase in the oxidation number, that would be related with oxidation, and if there is decrease in the oxidation number, that would be indicated with or related with the reduction. So, in option A, that is copper oxide on reacting with hydrogen gives copper plus water. So, you can clearly see here that oxygen is being removed from copper oxide. So, and oxygen is also being added to H2. So, if you look over their chemical behavior, that means if you look at over their oxidation number, so copper is present in 2 oxidation state in reactant and in 0 in product. So you will find that the copper has been reduced from 2 to 0. While if you look over the hydrogen, so hydrogen is present in 0 oxidation state in the reactant, while it is present in +1 oxidation state. So how would you relate it? We can relate it in a manner that hydrogen is oxidized from 0 oxidation state in H2 to +1 in H2O. Hence, we can say that this reaction is a direct example of oxidation reaction. Thus, the above reaction is a redox reaction. Now, in option B, that is Fe2O3 plus 3CO gives 2Fe plus 3CO2. That means, in this particular option, you will find that iron is reduced from +3 oxidation state in Fe2O3 to 0 in Fe. So there is change in oxidation state from +3 to 0. That means there has been gain of electron. That means iron has gained the electrons, and this is the main reason for which we can say that iron is reduced. While if you look over the carbon, in reactant, you will find that it is present in +2 oxidation state, while in the product, in CO2 that form, the carbon is present in +4 oxidation state. That means from +2 to +4, the oxidation number has changed, and hence this can be considered as an oxidized one. Thus, the above reaction is a redox reaction. Now, let's look over the option C. So, in option C, you will find that potassium is being reacted with fluorine, forming potassium fluoride. So, in this, the fluorine is reduced from 0 oxidation state in F2 to -1 in Kf. So, you will find that the oxidation number has been taken place from 0 to -1. That means there has been decrease in the oxidation number, which is directly indicating the reduction reaction or the reduction process. While if you look over the potassium, so the potassium is present in 0 oxidation state in the reactant, while if you look over the potassium in product, you will find that it is present in +1. Hence, there is increase in the oxidation number, which directly indicate or is related with the oxidation reaction. Thus, the above reaction is considered as a redox reaction because both the oxidation and reduction has been taken place. Now, let's look over the fourth option. That is the reaction of BaCl2 plus H2SO4 giving barium sulfate and hydrogen chloride. Till now, we have considered all the rest of the three options, and all has been found as redox reaction. In this reaction, what you will find that the oxidation state of barium in BaCl2 is +2, while in the product, that is in BaSO4, it is also +2. That means the oxidation state for barium hasn't changed yet. If you look over the oxidation state of chlorine in BaCl2, so it has an oxidation state of -1, while in HCl also it has an oxidation state of -1. That means the oxidation state of Cl, that means chlorine, is also same. If there is no change in the oxidation state, that means there is no redox reaction taking place. That here no element changes its oxidation state. So by which what we can conclude? We can conclude that BaCl2 plus H2SO4, that means the reaction of barium chloride with sulfuric acid forming barium sulfate and hydrogen chloride, is not a redox reaction. Therefore, the fourth option is absolutely correct. I hope this question is clear to you. Now, let's summarize all the topics that we have studied till now in a short manner. So, the key concepts for this lecture are, first of all, the redox reaction. That what is redox reaction? That the oxidation and reduction occur together in redox reactions as inseparable coupled processes. What do we mean by inseparable coupled process? Because if in a reaction you will find that there is loss of electron taking place, then it is very obvious that particular electrons would be gained by a species, would be gained by another species. And hence we have said that it is an inseparable, that redox reaction as inseparable coupled process. So we can also occur or understand it in an easy language like that these reactions always occur together, meaning that the loss of electrons, that is oxidation, by one substance is always accompanied by the gain of those electrons by the another substance, and that gain of electron would be considered as reduction. Now we know that oxidation is the addition of electronegative element or the removal of electropositive element, while the reduction is the removal of electronegative element or the addition of electropositive element to a particular substance. We have already solved or have different examples for it. Now, the oxidizing agents accept electrons while the reducing agent donate electrons in the redox reaction. So we know that the oxidizing agents accept electrons while reducing agents donate electrons. We have already understand it in a manner that the substance or the particular species that are being oxidized would be considered as the reducing agent, and the species which are reduced would be considered as the oxidizing agent. So in the redox reaction, we can say that the oxidizing agent facilitates the oxidation of another substance by accepting electrons from it. And for the reducing agent in the redox reaction, we can say that the reducing agent facilitates the reduction of another substance by donating electrons. Okay? So redox reactions always show change in the oxidation state and electron transfer in between the chemical species. That means, as already explained, that there would be change in the oxidation number, either increase or decrease. The increase would be related with oxidation and the decrease would be related with reduction. And we can say that the loss of electrons, and by this that electron transfer between species. What we can understand by it? We can understand it in a manner that the loss of electrons by one substance is always accompanied by the gain of electrons by the another substance. So this is all about oxidation, reduction, and the redox reaction. I hope all the concepts or the key concepts are clear to you in a detailed manner. So with this, I end my lecture here. Thank you so much, everyone.